Chair, we're ready.
Okay. Welcome everyone to our regular meeting, HRC meeting. We're gonna start off tonight's meeting with the land acknowledgement. I would ask if there's a commissioner there that could possibly read off the land acknowledgement. We will be having the discussion later in the meeting about the land acknowledgement, but if one of our commissioners wouldn't mind reading it.
Since time immemorial, the Kalapuya people have been the indigenous stewards to our region, building dynamic communities, maintaining balance with wildlife, and enacting sustainable land practices. A land acknowledgement is a way of resisting the erasure of indigenous histories and to honor Native communities by inviting truth and reconciliation. Following treaties between 1851 and 1855, Kalapuya people were dispossessed of their indigenous homeland by the United States government and forcibly removed to the Coast Reservation in Western Oregon. As we consider the impacts of colonization, we also acknowledge the strength and resiliency of displaced Indigenous people. The city of Eugene is built within the traditional homelands known as Kalapuya Alehi. Kalapuya descendants are citizens of the Confederated Tribes of the Grand Ronde Community of Oregon and the Confederated Tribes of the Siletz Indians of Oregon. They continue to make contributions in our communities here and across the lands. We express our respect for the inherent political sovereignty of all federally recognized tribal nations and Indigenous people who live in the state of Oregon and across the nation.
Thank you very much. Can you please tell me your name again, Commissioner?
Elena Oman, Commissioner Oman.
Elena Oman. Okay. Nice to meet you. I have never met you in person, but nice to meet you. Thank you for reading that. Okay, we'll move to the item 2 on our agenda, which is our meeting minutes review, and we have to get a vote on our meeting minutes. Did everybody have a chance to review the meeting minutes? Okay, so all those that approve of our meeting minutes, say aye.
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 Anybody opposed? Okay. Meeting minutes have been approved. We'll move on to item 3 on our agenda, our HRC leadership and commissioner updates. Fabio, if you could do a round robin in the room for commissioner updates, and then online.
Anybody want to start?
Yeah, just anybody that's there.
Attended the march yesterday and it was great. I missed the first few minutes of the opening, but I got to go with my husband and one of my sons, and it was I thought it was very well attended. I've never been to one here, but it was great.
Thank you, Commissioner Baldwin.
I also wanted to mention that the State of the City address with the mayor's art show was extremely well attended and well done. Was very uplifting, and I think everybody really needed to be together and hear her message.
Thank you, Commissioner Poindexter. Anyone else in the room?
Like Brittany has her hand up.
Brittany's here.
Commissioner Bena is in the queue.
Okay. Hi. My daughter and I went to the march yesterday, and we actually spent a lot of time with the police officers. They were so affectionate towards Solana, and they gave her toys and stickers, and they were like flashing their lights, making her excited. And it was really, really touching and super unexpected. And it was just an amazing experience.
Thank you, Commissioner Bana.
Yeah.
Anyone else have any commissioner updates or anything they would like to share?
Yeah, At the Museum of Natural and Cultural History right now is an exhibit called Re-Envisioned. And it's by Jeremy of High Davis, and it's contemporary portraits of our Black ancestors or Black folks that were in Oregon years and years and years ago in the founding of Oregon, and several stories of their families and their contributions that I was not aware of despite doing a lot of this type of work. So if you have an opportunity to go check it out, then that is something I'd recommend you do. It was beautiful.
And it's at the Natural History Museum?
Yeah, at the U of O.
Thanks.
Oh, thank you for sharing that. Who was that? I couldn't see who was speaking.
Jamie.
Oh, Bowman?
Yeah.
Okay, Commissioner Bowman. Okay, thank you. All right. Any other, I see Commissioner Murthy. How you doing?
Thank you, Dr. Booker. I'm doing fine, thank you. I hope you're doing well too.
Oh,
I
yeah.
attended the march yesterday. It was very meaningful for me as a person that is involved with DI work. And there was a lot of good lessons that I can take for my own work. Secondly, I had an opportunity to review the Equity Atlas. It is phenomenally well done. I would, if you have a urge to learn about housing history in Eugene, that is a really good resource. I hope to help with that aspect of the HRC. I think it was part of the VCU project. And so I hope to start looking around recommendations on how this could be useful or not for city staff. I think it will be very well received because they're covered in depth how the housing history in Oregon, in Eugene, took place. I am very touched to learn and humbled at the same time to add that aspect to my urban planning work and also combine my little bit of planning background to contribute to the commission. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Murthy.
Chair, sorry to interrupt. Commissioner Murthy, it was kind of a little bit at the start of your update. Did you mention the Equity Atlas?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, just to make it clear for the record, that's a resource that the city has published just a month ago. It was compiled by the planning department, and it builds upon work that was done by our team and with participation of the Human Rights Commission years ago. So Lorna Flormo was involved in that process and did interviews with Black residents of Eugene who are highlighted in that material, some of that information. So it's online now and anyone can go and check it out. And we can send a reminder to you with the address. So Eugene Equity Atlas is now available for anyone to see online. Thank you.
Oh, yeah. Thank you for bringing that up, Fabio. I definitely want to check that out and review that. Any other commissioners before I speak? Nope.
Go ahead. Okay. So the last Thursday, UO was able to open up a brand new cultural center, the Swana Center. So the Southwest Asian and North African Cultural Center, which is really amazing because I know that there's been a lot of students and staff that have been working towards that for years. So they had a grand opening event last Thursday. It was awesome. I was really happy to be able to go. But if any of you are ever on campus, I encourage you to check it out. I think it's a really cool space. And they're also doing some great work. Like I know that they're supporting scholarships for students from Gaza and things like that. So I encourage all of you to check it out if you're ever on campus, because I think it's a really nice space and it'll be a really amazing cultural center.
Do you have an address or?
It's located in the Urban Memorial Union on the second floor. So it's just in there. And yeah, it's just one room, but it's a really nice space. Yeah.
That's amazing. That is so cool. Thank you, Commissioner.
It's really nice.
Thank you for letting us know about that. I was also going to say if you have anybody that you know there or talk to and they would like to contact or connect with us, we would love to partner with them or have a connection with them in some form or fashion.
Oh, absolutely. I can do that. I'm sure they'd love to.
Thank you.
I had one quick announcement. There is a reflection breakfast co-sponsored by AARP and NAACP. Sorry for all of that, but it's at 8 o'clock at the Ford Center this Saturday. And it's free, so I would encourage anybody to drop in if you can.
The reflection breakfast, is it in honor of MLK Day or what is?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes, I'm sorry, it certainly is. I should have said that. It's a reflection of Dr. King.
okay. All right, thank you so much for that. All right. Thank you, all the commissioners, for your updates. I have a few or a couple. Some one is sent to me. Oh, Vice Chair Kabuko is going to be out until May, I believe. I'm not really sure what's going on, but she's just taking a leave of absence till May. It's nothing serious, so I don't want anybody worry or anything like that. I think it's more just her scheduling and everything is just busy, everything comes all at once type of thing. But feel free to reach out to her and just check on her if you want. But I was going to ask if there are any commissioners, not to replace her, but is there any commissioner that would like to be like an interim vice chair with me until she returns? Just someone I could call on and depend on in case I have to make an appearance or do anything.
Yeah. Chair,
Yes.
sorry, just because she requests the leave of absence to be approved for her for 3 months. So we need to have a vote on that and approve the leave of absence.
Okay.
Have
Oh,
that
so we have
conversation.
to vote. We have to vote on it and approve it.
Yes, that's the process in the bylaws. They can request a leave of absence if they know they will be absent from more than for a period of time. So they know it's like 3 months.
Okay.
And without the leave of absence, she would be removed from the commission from missing all those meetings. So that's why she's requesting leave of absence, and then she can rejoin in April. In
Okay.
May.
So let's vote on it. Are we all in agreement with granting Vice Chair Kabuko her leave of absence for 3 months? All in favor, say aye.
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 Anybody opposed? Nope. The ayes have it. So Commissioner Kabuko's leave has been approved, and I hope she has a great time and is able to do everything she needs to do. She is awesome, and we're gonna miss her while she's gone. Now back to my question. Is there anyone who would just like to just be like an interim vice chair with me until she returns? And it's not like replacing her, it's just somebody I can call on or.
Man, I'm not opposed, but I'm also just a baby in this thing. So I do have time. Do I know what I'm doing? Absolutely not. Am I available? Yeah.
Right now, Commissioner Bowman.
I second.
Thank you, Commissioner Bowman. You don't have to know. You don't have to know anything or anything. It's just like I'll call on you in case like I need you to go to an event or something with me or something like that. But it's nothing serious. You don't have to like study or read up on anything like that.
Awesome.
Who seconded that really quickly? Was that?
All right. Well, thank you all for your commissioner updates and
Chair, we need a vote on that.
oh, we got to vote on that too. Okay, let's vote on it then. So all in favor of Commissioner Bowman being an interim vice chair until Commissioner Kabuko can get back, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? All right, congratulations to Commissioner Bowman.
Thank you, Chair. And just for the record, the commission used to operate by consensus, but with the new Oregon Public Meetings Law, we are required to document every vote. So that's why we have to ask for a vote, and so Melissa can capture those in the notes. Thank you.
No, thank you for keeping us on point. Thank you. I appreciate that, Fabio.
I'm gonna grab a celebratory drink.
Yes, there's chocolate too.
Oh, and then the other thing I just read through another update that I had. We were supposed to discuss moving the HRC meetings to the fourth Thursdays. And we have to discuss and vote on that. Fabio, can you give us some background on why that came about?
Yes. So, for example, like tonight, City Council is meeting, and the meeting is on a Tuesday instead of on a Monday because of the holiday. So that happens a few times every year, and that prevents the commission from following that meeting, or people who like to participate in both. And sometimes we have topics of interest of the Human Rights Commission and of people who follow your meetings, and then they have to pick which one they want to attend and participate in. We also have issues with the council liaison not being able to attend the HRC meeting if they have to be at City Council. So Councilor Leach sent you all a message about her inability to attend the Tuesday meetings. We discussed a few alternatives, like Wednesday, for example, but staff and commissioners have ongoing commitments for Wednesdays, so that they would not work. Third Tuesday would be an option, but we are part of a consortium with other agencies that organize once a month an event called Third Thursdays for people of color and allies. And then we'll be competing with that. So one date that is available is the fourth Thursday. And if the commission would like to transfer the meeting to that date, then we can adjust the calendar, and that would avoid conflicting with City Council or with the Equity and Community Consortium meeting on the third Tuesdays.
Fabio, do we think that Councilor Leach can join us?
I would have to check with her if the fourth Thursday would work for her. Tuesday definitely would not work for her continue. So that's why she asked. She said she could no longer come to the meetings if it continues as is.
Any commissioners wanted to have a discussion or have input on moving it, or? My only thing would be, I probably will want to table this discussion until next meeting. Reason being, if our council liaison cannot be here, I really don't see what's the point in moving it. I think if we're moving it and she can be a part of it, that adds a different element to our meeting for information, being more involved, understanding the things that we could address and not address for City Council. If that all leads to that with us moving it, I'm all for it. But I think until we get a answer from our council person that's assigned to HRC on if that moving the date would benefit her attending, I think we should table it until next meeting. But I would like to, is there any opinions on that or disagreements with that?
Move to table as you described, Chair.
Okay, thank you. So we'll vote on it. All in favor of tabling the discussion of moving our HRC meeting to the last Thursday of the month. All in favor of tabling that discussion till next month, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? All right, we're rocking and rolling tonight. So so we'll table that meeting until next month. Hopefully by that time we have an answer from our assigned councilwoman on if she can attend our HRC meetings. Thank you, Fabio. Next. Okay, so that's it for commissioner updates. Thank you all for your updates and your acknowledgement of MLK Day. And we're gonna be rocking and rolling on through February. So get ready to keep on cheering on our Black citizens, because Black History Month is right around the corner. So yeah, I'm looking for that too. So moving on, we're gonna move down we are a little bit behind, so I'm gonna kind of speed up some things. We're gonna move on item 4, our EPD liaison report from Lieutenant Williams. Lieutenant Williams, thanks for being here, and the floor is yours.
Thank you, Chair. Good evening, everybody. I don't have a lot of updates, so I'll try to keep my summary pretty brief. I always appreciate the opportunity to come speak with you. Beginning on a case that we did not cover at the last meeting that took place at the beginning of December. This didn't come to me until recently. This is a couple of roommates. One, our suspect is of Hispanic descent. He's listed in our area records as white. The victim is Muslim, was kind of how he identifies. And I'm not going to try to pronounce the names. We don't normally cover names anyways in the meetings, but so they were in a disagreement. This was in some apartments over by Autzen Stadium. And the offender told our victim to shut up, and then he spit on him. The victim pointed it out and then left, and objecting to how he was being treated. He left, and when he came back, he saw a stick figure had been drawn on the ground of a person in a dress, and the name Allah written over the top. He believed this was a direct insult to his faith and was done intentionally to insult him. So he called the police. He did have a recording of the incident. The suspect tried to say he didn't do it on purpose and he didn't make the drawing, but the evidence was to the contrary. So he ended up going to jail for bias crime in the second degree. Let's see if there are any charges. Looks like bias crime 2. At the beginning of January, we had a Jewish citizen. Oh no, just before that, another Jewish case. We had a representative from Temple Beth Israel call and say he had received a phone call. The person said, "F the Jews, I hate the Jews," and then he hung up, called back 2 more times, but nobody spoke on the other end of the line. And then when he received the third call, it was a different voice, and the person had some questions about the Jewish faith and about different practices. And our complainant was unsure whether this was a legitimate question or something related to the earlier prank call. He did say it sounded like a youth that was calling. This was forwarded to our special investigations unit just for awareness, our Jewish liaison, Detective Lowe. No direct threat made, just insulting language over the phone. Our next case was a few days later, and this was kind of in South Central Eugene. It was a Jewish citizen called to say her non-Jewish husband had found a Bible in their mailbox. There was nothing real suspicious about the Bible other than some passages relating to the Jewish faith were highlighted inside it. There was nothing threatening or overt about it, but it was troubling to her. Her husband's not Jewish. It's a quiet street. They don't get a lot of foot traffic. She did wonder if maybe it was left in response to menorah that she has hanging out in her windowsill during Hanukkah. She also said she has a family member who suffers from schizophrenia, and there's an outside chance it was him, but she didn't think so, and just wanted to make a report in case something more came of that. A little more troubling, we had a citizen on her way to, she was driving downtown. She was near Whitebird and had a lady walk up to her, call her a racially motivated anti-Hispanic racial slur, claimed she was going to contact ICE, and then ripped off a portion of the victim's driver's side car mirror, causing damage to the car. And then the lady stalked off, and our victim stayed put and called the police. She said something in addition. She said something to the effect of brown people should not be here. So police actually located the suspect nearby as they're speaking with the victim. Apparently also she had been banging on the driver's side window and trying to get the door open while she was yelling. So very frightening experience for the victim. She was shaking and near tears while she was explaining this to the police. Police did find broken mirror material on the ground, kind of corroborating her story. They took photos and spoke with the suspect. Suspect declined to speak with the police. was placed under arrest and taken to jail for criminal mischief in the second degree and bias crime 2. The next incident was kind of a road rage incident, possibly just a driving bias crime, but it had to do with a pair of ladies, partners who were in a car together. They did mention they had some kind of maybe rainbow stickers or something denoting that they were a couple on the car that might have been advertising or attracting this kind of this suspect's behavior. Anyway, it was a young guy driving a car next to them, called them a derogatory term for gay people. He kind of revved it around them and hollered at them a second time. He's a real young guy, which did fit. The police came out and spoke with the victims, and the owner of the car did match the physical descriptors provided by the victims. They didn't want to be the victim of a crime, and this was mostly just reported for police awareness and to document in case something like this were to happen again. They were provided with the case number of the report. Police report was taken. It was forwarded to the Department of Justice, and they were also provided the information for the Office of Equity and Community Engagement. I hope I didn't rush too fast. That's actually all our updates. Does anyone have a question for me?
Do any of our commissioners have any questions or statements that they would like to make?
Not particularly about what you shared, but thank you for sharing that. With everything that's going on in the Twin Cities, I guess, does EPD have a plan if for some reason ICE would do something similar here?
So we are, as commissioners know, probably Oregon is a sanctuary state. We have state laws that prevent us from assisting immigration officers in the execution of their duties. I can tell you EPD's, our primary concern is keeping people safe. And what I mean safe is mostly focused on the protests that are taking place. They're mostly confined to federal facilities. Our concern is ensuring that motorists are safe to pass by, protesters are safe to perform their constitutional rights, and that the staff that come and go from those facilities remain safe. So I know that doesn't get to the gist of I think what you're asking, but that's as close as I can come to offering an answer there.
Anyone else?
Chair, sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, we have a raised hand, but it's from a participant, so we do not take questions for participants at this meeting, unless you'd like to provide public comment, and that can be, you can sign up for that through the Q&A function, and that happens at the end of the meeting.
Okay.
I'm glad Commissioner Bana had a positive experience with her child in the police department. Those stories are always appreciated. Thank you for sharing.
Commissioner Murthy?
I am just curious about citizen rights in religious facilities. If ICE shows up, what can citizens do? I'm just curious for information. I want to understand this for my own understanding.
I can understand your question because I've been seeing things around the nation that are different, perhaps, than we're accustomed to operating within law enforcement in the state of Oregon. I can speak to how Oregon law enforcement operates. If we can either enter premises with consent, or with a warrant, or with a warrant exception. There's another possibility, and that would be something called exigency. Serious physical danger, then we could enter a premises without without a warrant. But ordinarily, we would need a search warrant, and people have the right under the Fourth Amendment to not be subject to unreasonable search and seizure. So we would seek a search warrant.
Thank you.
With that said, Fabio, that's a great question, Commissioner Murthy. Fabio, are we able to get put on our website or compile what citizens can do if ICE shows up, so that we can direct them, or can you make a printout of things that we could hand out? Because like at the MLK March, that would have been something good to hand out yesterday. Of letting citizens know what they can do, because I don't know if people know, but in the state of Oregon, Willamette Valley leads in ICE detentions. So is there something that we can do or put on our website that teaches people what to do if ICE shows up?
Yes, I can provide some information on that. We did update our page on resource for immigrants. So if you go to our website under Office of Veteran Community Engagement, there is a page for immigrants and refugees, and it has information on the state of Oregon policies and links to the state of Oregon resources. So the state prints out material in multiple languages, and there is a hotline that people can call, and that's available 24 hours, 7 days a week in multiple languages, and they are coordinating that response. So we have been utilizing the resources that the state has provided us. And here in our office is the same. We have some printed materials that we can give to commissioners if you'd like. And when we go to events, those are the materials we take. So we follow the guidance from the state.
Okay. And the printouts, do they address ICE directly, or does it talk about ICE? And are you able to put those links in the chat where the people that are participating online can view it or access it?
The chat is only with panelists, so I can refer to them and point people to the website. So if you go to the City of Eugene website, eugene-or.gov, and just search for immigrants or refugees, you'll find our page, and that information is posted there.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Fabio. And thank you, Lieutenant Williams, for your updates, and I appreciate you being here.
Thank you. Have a good evening, everybody.
All right, we'll be moving on to item 5, our bias report. And Fabio, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Chair. And I have mixed news to share with you. So let me share one piece of news that you can react to that. That's the data from the state hotline. So the state of Oregon since 2021 has been receiving the reports of hate and bias incidents. And since 2023, we stopped publishing our own report, and now we follow the state reporting system. So the state of Oregon has made data available for us on their website. So I'm going to put it on the screen for everyone to see and share my screen in just a second. So please be patient. So I hope everyone can now see this website. So this is the data from the state of Oregon. And what you can see here is the number of total reports received in 2025. So 1,943 reports, the average for the month. And if you go to this website, you can sort the data by month or year, and you can sort also by location. At that website, they only present data by county. So you can click on our region, but most of I don't know why it's not allowing me to click on Lane County, sorry. But you can sort the data by county and see what's happening by type of incidents, by the conduct, and also by protected class. So you can see race year after year is the number one in terms of complaints. The positive news is that there was a reduction in number of cases for Oregon, reported cases. So this is what's going on. Sorry, let me reload the page and see if that fixed the issue because I wasn't being able to select per year. Per month. Okay, so here you can see the numbers since they started the program. So it was initiated in 2020, and then the first full year was 2021 with 1,600 reports. As more jurisdictions start plugging into that system, people became more familiar with the state system. More reports were coming in, and the numbers were growing year after year, peaking in 2024 with 5,800 reports. And now we have this number that is much lower than what happened last year and close to the initial years of the system. So it is still too early to know what happened last year, but that's what's available for us in terms of data on hate and bias activity in Oregon, reported hate and bias activity in Oregon. And just a reminder that with the state, their system captures the number of victims and not necessarily the number of incidents. So you may have reports that come, multiple reports about the same incident if there were multiple victims involved in that incident. Two prominent examples from Eugene. One was the anti-Semitic firing that happened here in 2024. So they got 124 cases about those flyers. And there was another one about a housing community in which 58 reports were made the same week about the same situation. So that's one caveat with the state data. I did ask the new coordinator for the state program if he would be available to come talk to the commission and discuss what he's seeing in terms of data and activity for the state. And I'm waiting to know if we can schedule that presentation for an upcoming HRC meeting. So this is just a summary. They are still cleaning up the data. A few months into the year, we get a full report, and then I can share that with the commission. We can identify what happened with the cases from Eugene. So although on the website you can only see by county, we do get data for Eugene only, and we are able to disaggregate that data and present more details to you to understand what's happening here. So that was what I mentioned, a more positive news, which is a reduction in cases. Then we have our own reporting here, which is in addition to the state reporting. We get cases that are documented by City of Eugene staff. Those usually involve hate speech. Most of them happen at the Eugene Public Library, and the staff finds those cases, or a patron is using hateful language against the staff, and that gets logged in. Some case results in suspension from using the library or using a city facility. In 2024, we had 31 cases, and in 2025, we had 60 cases. So it's almost double the number of cases against staff. Most of those cases would fall into two categories. The first one are racist speech against African American employees. And in almost all of them, use of the N-word and other things have been documented. And the second group are LGBTQ plus employees, or the perception that someone is in that category, and they would use derogatory terms to refer to staff. So that's something that we document and then we share with the state. So when you get the annual report, all the cases that we have documented here in our office or through the system, the City of Eugene facilities will be capturing the state report as well. So that's what I have to share right now, and I can answer a few questions if you have questions on this, but we'll have more detailed data to share later on.
Thank you for sharing that. I think one of the things to kind of focus on when you give the bias hate report, especially amongst our commissioners, we are charged to be the voice of our communities. So I would implore us to look inside ourselves and ask ourselves if we are not socializing outside of the demographics that look like us, are we really being effective human rights commissioners? You have to reach out to people who do not look like you, who you do not normally socialize, and be the voice of these people because racism has been incentivized. They're paying these people to carry out these racist acts. And the derogatory language is the language of the ignorant and the broken. And a lot of folks who go and quote Dr. King fail to live up to the quotes that they are very hypocritical to. So we have to understand that as human rights commissioners, you are charged with making sure that you are the voice of the community and the people. And a lot of those people do not look like you. So I want to make sure that I point that out and that we look inside ourselves and challenge ourselves as commissioners to make an impact and not just be commissioners sitting on a board. But yeah, thank you, Fabio, for that update.
Chair, maybe I share one more thing I just remember. Is that at the march yesterday, when we're still in front of Autzen Stadium, someone did drive by honking and making gestures against the crowd. And those were racist words and gestures that were being displayed. So although over 1,000 people were there to celebrate Dr. King and his message and to show up in support of the community, there were also people who showed up to display racist behavior and speech.
And that also brings me to something else I thought about weeks ago. We know that racism is going to appear when these things are celebrated. It would be good if we could get EPD and our local FBI agencies and law enforcement agencies to be there when these things happen, to kind of be proactive in addressing these rather than letting them carry themselves out. I know every racist can't be addressed, but it would be nice if law enforcement present and these different agencies that we have in our community would have a more prominent presence in search and destroy type of attitude when they know that we're going to be surrounded by people in our community that are being given a green light to be ignorant. But yeah, that's all I have to say about it. Thank you, Fabio, for bringing that up. We're going to move on to item 6, our city council updates. Again, I think that Fabio, floor is yours on that.
Just 1 second, let me get the tentative agenda up. While I'm looking for that, as you probably know, City Council is meeting tonight, and one item in the agenda is of interest for the commission. So people are providing testimony on the what is known as the panhandling ordinance. So there's ongoing discussion about that, and that's happening tonight. And this is one of the things that we can avoid with changing the dates of our meetings to avoid conflict with City Council. But we do have a few items coming up that is of interest to the commission. Let me just get this on the screen. Find a way to make it easier. Just so many clicks. Okay. You should be able to see it now. Okay, so here we have the council tentative agenda and some of the items that may be of interest for the HRC. Let me go for today. So this is the one I was referring to. There's a public hearing happening today. And I don't know how many people are out there, but look like we had a good crowd showing up to provide their opinion on this. No decision is being made today, that's right? It's just a public hearing. So if the commission has an opinion, you'd like to share that with council, you can still work on something that can be submitted.
And
Then
also, I'm sorry to interrupt, Fabio. Sometimes, not that I have a question, but sometimes there's no context behind what they say they're going to be discussing, so we don't really know what input we need to have.
Mhm.
So, for instance, if you go back up to the vehicular,
This one.
or yeah, I have no clue on what that even is, what they're even talking about right there.
Yes, so this one is the public hearing. There was a previous meeting in which council discussed that situation and the staff were providing information and then answering councilors' questions. So we can share the related materials. And usually for the city of Eugene, when you go to the website for city council and you see the agenda for today, there is an agenda item summary for each one of the items on the agenda. And that item mentions what happened before. So there will be links to the previous meetings. It's sometimes difficult for people to dig into that information. So if you see anything on the tentative agenda, I'd like to know more, we staff can support you finding that information and send you the recordings of previous conversations. So that can give you more background into what is being discussed.
That's awesome. Thank you, Fabio. That's great. Thank you.
On January 26th, this one is maybe interesting for the commission because council picked some of the priorities that they'd like our intergovernmental staff to focus on. And that's work that is being done at the state level and at the federal level. So usually we get an idea of which kind of bills are being introduced into the legislative sessions. And we can ask for some of the HSC priorities, for example, or office priorities to be included in that work. So our recommendation can be submitted, and the councilors will participate in the, what is the committee? Intergovernmental Relations Committee. They can pick some of those bills to advocate for, against, or ask for some tweaks before the city takes a decision, an opinion on those items that are for consideration by the state legislature. Then here are a few things about affordable housing. Those are mostly approval of projects. We do have an item for the HSC coming up on the council agenda. So in February, the HSC will be presenting a report to council. And we will be discussing that item later on in the agenda today. So I'll talk more when you get there. But we have been including the council agenda with your meeting materials. And it's always posted on the city website if there is a need for any update. So if you see anything in the council agenda that is of interest, you can reach out to staff if you need more information, if you would like us to gather more information for you, or to include in the HSC agenda for an upcoming meeting so you can have a conversation. And if needed, designate someone to write a draft recommendation or to come to city council and provide testimony. So that is also available to commissioners.
Fabio, would you recommend we create like a subcommittee to kind of discuss that and kind of go over what we are currently, like our work group items that we currently have? Because we got a lot of new commissioners, and I know we're going to be voting in another one here soon. And Commissioner Murthy is new. Would a subcommittee work here so that we could discuss it and bring that to the next meeting before this particular city council meeting? Do we have enough time to do that?
The commission can definitely create subcommittees according to your needs and interests. Myself as a staff, I would not have a recommendation on that, but that's something that the commission can discuss and decide if it's needed or not, or what would be the best approach for you to be informed of what is coming up on the council agenda. Part of the report conversation which I will address a little bit later on, is discussing that alignment with the council priorities. So that's a moment for the HRC to have that conversation with council and discuss which items we'd like to focus on.
Okay, we'll save that discussion and vote for the later on when we discuss that. I think it's like item 10, no, 11. Okay, thank you. Any other city council updates before we move on?
Mia, do you have anything?
City council
About
meeting.
council?
Well, just that last week, council did move to hire a new city manager. And so, and Dr. Booker, I don't know if you want to speak to your experience and involvement in that process.
Oh yeah. That was I really liked that process. I'm glad that the commission and basically it was a roundtable of the chairs from the different commissions. So like the police commission, planning commission, I can't remember the other commissions that were there, but basically it's the chair from each of the commissions. And we get an opportunity to have like a roundtable. We get like a packet of their resume, a description of what the expectations are of the city manager, etc. And they basically come in and do an interview process that we get to hear and ask them questions. And we all were assigned questions that we got to ask each candidate. It was 3 candidates. They all were phenomenal candidates. Any one of them would have made a great city manager. But our selection, we got to vote at the end, or actually we took notes during each interview process, and then put all of our notes together, and then we gave our opinion on who we thought would make the best one. Fortunately, the person that everyone voted for ended up being the new city manager. So what I forgot her name. Could you
Sure.
What's her name again, please?
Jenny Haruyama, and she's coming from the city of Beaverton, where she's currently the city manager.
Miss Haru, her last name is giving me. Say it one more time, please.
Sure. Haruyama.
Haruyama. Okay, sorry about that. But yeah, she's phenomenal. Her interview was exceptional, and I'm glad that we got to be a part of that process, and they included the commissions. And I look forward. I think it's great, and I hope it continues. One of the things that really shined about her interview process is she is very keen on, and it's something that she did in Beaverton, well, with getting the commissions to talk and interact with one another. Instead of like, because we don't know who's on the police commission, we don't know who's on the planning commission. We have no idea what they do or how they interact. And she's big on having like a yearly kumbaya type of thing where we all come together and we get to meet each other and talk to each other and interact with each other and get to know each other. So I think that that's very important. And that was one thing that we do not have right now that I think would be very beneficial for our commissions, is if we communicate. So yeah, so that was great. And yeah, thank you for letting me talk about my experience. And does anybody have any questions at all about anything that was discussed or how it went?
Chair, I just want to add that in the question that were asked, there was a question about the Human Rights Commission. So each city manager candidate had to express their opinions about how to include human rights in local government work. So there was something that was also observed by participants in that panel.
Nice.
Thank you, Fabio. Okay, if we have nothing else, the city council updates, we'll move to HRC vacancies. Fabio, give us a little bit of background on our vacancy and how we're going to fill it.
Yeah, so we have 3 commissioners whose terms are ending in June, and they are eligible to reapply. So those are our current chair, Dr. Silky Booker, our vice chair, Kiana Kabuko, and our commissioner, Cynthia Poindexter. So they can reapply if they wish to serve another term, go to the same process as all other candidates, and council makes appointment. And we also have 1 vacancy. So Commissioner Christopherson resigned because of conflict with the schedule at the U of O, mostly. and that position is vacant. So we need to recruit someone to fill that vacancy. So that usually happens with someone from the work group. So we'll be promoting that vacancy and asking people to apply. But probably we'll be following the same process, but just knowing that when council makes a decision, someone that's already serving in the work group may be appointed to fill the remainder of Commissioner Christopherson's term, which will be almost 2.5 years. So that's what is coming up with the HSC vacancy process. So applications are open until January 31st. And the timeline doesn't align well with our meetings. So we would need to set up a committee, an ad hoc committee that will get the application materials and do a blind review of the candidates and work with staff to prepare your list of preference to be sent to City Council. So that's one item that would need to complete at this meeting, is coming up with a committee who would like to review the candidates. We can get anywhere from 10 to 30 candidates has been the average since I've been here for almost 7 years now. So that's what has happened. Like 10 to 30 is the number that we get every year of people wanting to serve in the Human Rights Commission.
And then, and also with that being said, Fabio, it wouldn't be fair for me to be on it, considering I'm one of the ones that has to be up for re-election, right?
Correct. Yeah, if you're lying, that would be to remove yourself from the process.
Yeah. So myself, Vice Chair Kabuko, and Commissioner Poindexter are not allowed to be on the ad hoc committee. So just so the other commissioners know, in terms of volunteering for this particular committee. And how many do we need?
That is not, we try to avoid being a quorum of the HSC because otherwise we'd have to post that. So anywhere, usually 3 to 5 people would participate in that process. Commissioners whose terms are ending can participate in the process if they are not reapplying.
Okay. Okay. I'm glad you added that. Okay.
So all of them will reapply, but it's a personal decision for them.
By show of hands, is there anyone right off that would like to volunteer? We got Commissioner Murthy raise her hand. She would like to volunteer. Or Commissioner Murthy, did you want to say something? I'm sorry. Were you volunteering?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
yes, Dr. Booker.
Okay, I saw your hand. I want to make sure. Okay, so we got one for Commissioner Murthy. Anyone else?
I just have a question. What is the time frame of us having to review them so I can see if I can do that?
At least a week.
Do you know what week though? Would it be the first week?
It'll be the second week in February.
Okay. I will commit to doing that.
Yeah, me too.
Please state your name so because I can't see the room.
Baldwin and Bowman.
Commissioner Baldwin. And who else?
Bowman.
Oh, Bowman. Okay. So we got 3. Do we need any more? Anybody else?
We can have up to 5.
You have up to 5. Anyone else want to be a part of the process? See how it goes, or choose our next partnership person?
And it's a blind review. So we remove all the identifiers and you only get the answers to the questions that is asked through the process.
Commissioner Bana, you volunteering? All right, so it's another one. Got it. Great. Commissioner Bana. And last time, anyone else? All right, so thank you. Thank you for volunteering. Our next commissioners or our next commissioners will be in your hands, and I look forward to it. So thank you, Commissioner Murthy, Baldwin, Bowman, and Bana.
Chair, I have one question for clarification.
Yes, ma'am.
Fabio, are you saying that because there's an opening right now, that one of the work groups could put someone forward? Okay.
Yeah.
Alyssa, did we already do that?
So there's actually 2 WeCU members who are interested in joining the commission. They're gonna go actually follow the regular process.
Oh, they are?
They opted to do that, yes.
Okay.
And I believe there might be somebody from the other work group that might have. I don't.
Yes,
I'm not-
because it's happening at the same time that
Yeah.
council is doing the regular recruitment, we can use the same process. We'll
Yeah.
just make a note of those who are serving in the work groups that could be appointed to that unexpired term instead.
Okay,
And I-
so
yeah.
the two we have put forward are actually applying.
Yes,
Thank
and
you.
I did tell them to
you.
mention their work group
Thank you.
involvement.
All right, thank you. Oh, so, Fabio, is there anything we need to vote on right now?
No, not on this one.
Okay, and then those four commissioners, you will get with them off, later to get that ad hoc together?
Yes, we will communicate with those who volunteered, and when we get the materials from the city council support team, then we share with them. And we have a matrix that they can use to enter their scoring, and we prepare a final report that will be shared with all of you.
Okay, thank you.
It's just that our next meeting is one day after the deadline by which council needs that information. So
Okay.
you're missing it by one day.
Thank you, Fabio. Okay, we're gonna move on to item 8 on our agenda, Native American seat on HRC. This is something that me and I had discussed with Commissioner Poindexter one night, and we were like, hey, this would be something great to bring to the commission to have a discussion about. And I would like to have you guys' opinion on it, but I was one of the things I was thinking that would be beneficial, and this kind of correlates with the land acknowledgement, is that we acknowledge something without giving something back. And to me, that's kind of like if I took something from you, admitted I took it, and then I didn't give it back to you. So I look at this land acknowledgement thing is, how can we really acknowledge something when we don't have the presence to speak on what affects them, and how human rights could be beneficial to not only understanding the tribes and the history, but building that relationship and that understanding, rather than just reading off a land acknowledgement that many of us have no clue on when it was even founded. So I want to have a discussion on what you guys think on having a Native American seat on HRC. And you can raise your hand or speak whenever you want.
Chair?
Yes.
Would it be helpful for me to provide some background of what options the commission would have to pursue that?
Oh yeah, please. Anything that will help to ignite the conversation.
Okay, so we didn't do much work on this because we were waiting for the commission to have that conversation, but I just want to point out a few things that you can consider before you jump to that conversation. Is that there will be some legal requirements that we'll have to work through our attorney's office to understand what is okay and what is not okay for us to do. To start the conversation, the HRC membership is set in our code. So that will require city council action to change the code. And that is something that the HRC can recommend to council, but it is up for them to decide if they want to take that work and change the code to fix or adjust the HRC membership. Then there are multiple ways of incorporating someone as Native American into this formal work. So you'd have to decide, is it a representative of the tribes, the recognized tribes that have Eugene as their service area? Is it anyone who is a member of a Native American tribe? Does it have to be a tribe from Oregon, or is it okay to have someone that is a member of a tribe in another state? So those are some of the discussions that you would be having, and we'll need to check what is allowed or not. So depending on where you are heading with the conversation, the work on the background would change. But those are the things that I'd like you to be aware of, that if we're going to that conversation to discuss, okay, is it a partnership with the tribes? Is it getting someone who is affiliated with the tribe? What is the process for us to check on all of that? So those are things that may require some work on the background as we advance on this.
Can I add a couple more things? So 2 things. I wanted to share that actually in the past year, a community member who was actually very interested in serving on the HRC actually advocated to have a native seat. And then the former chair of the HRC, Blake Burrell, also brought it up to us at one point. So I just wanted to share that this topic has come up before. The other thing I wanted to provide is I'm on the intergovernmental tribal relations team with the city, and we've met with the tribes that have shared or overlap with service areas. And they were very clear that they want no one to represent the whole tribe if there is a representative. So just keeping that in mind as well.
Okay. Okay.
I'm sorry, did I interrupt you, Dr. Booker?
No, I'm thinking about, go ahead, please.
It feels to me that the place to start is with representatives the city already has relationships with, to ask, to get input about what it would look like in their opinion to go forward with this. I don't think we should go forward without first checking with your tribal connections. To say, is this useful to you? Does it feel like something you want to pursue in partnership with us? And so I would sort of like to start with your connections, Melissa, if that makes sense.
Yes, I can definitely bring this topic up to the next intergovernmental tribal relations meeting, which is happening actually next week. And I make the agendas, so I make sure it's there.
So what do other people think about having Melissa check in with folks?
I agree. I would hate to do something with really good intention without even having input from them. We could create this whole thing that we think is a great idea, and they might have a lot of other ideas.
Right.
So I totally agree with that.
And this is actually perfect timing because we have a listening session tomorrow with some of our native community members, and I'll ask this question.
And
Yeah,
also
I mean-
too, I'm sorry. Is anybody gonna say something?
Oh, may I just say something briefly?
Oh, yes.
As Fabi indicated, I think we have to check with the CAO to make sure that it's within the guidelines of and legal. So we'll have to do that before we take additional steps too.
Gary, that
Um,
would that expand the amount of people, is that what we're talking about, like, that can be on this, or is it that a designated spot will belong to somebody from the tribes? Or is
So-
that like, we go to city council and we say, these are what we're thinking, like, what can we realistically do? And is that with legal? And then also, does that look like a permanent spot, or is it like, do you wanna come in and present and we'll have a conversation regularly? Like, do you have capacity to have more demanded of you from us? Like, what is feasible? What can you do? Like, yeah, I don't wanna do anything about you without you, so what does that look like?
And just to give a little background on my thought process when I thought of this having a seat, it's human rights is everyone, every day, everywhere. Again, everyone, every day, everywhere. That's human rights. And when I hear this land acknowledgement, I'm thinking I'm acknowledging somebody in the room who I know nothing about. I know as a Black American, we have a history here that should be acknowledged. And it's not a comparison, I want to give the right acknowledgement and understand and have a dialogue and a relationship with these people that we are acknowledging, so we understand what they go through and what affects them and how they have persevered to keep their culture together and what they're doing to advance their culture. And I feel like that's unheard of. We have no connection to that whatsoever, but yet we acknowledge them every day, which to me is mind baffling to me. So when I thought of this, it's not so much they come and represent them, but more of an advisory thing. More of them coming and letting us know what's going on. So it's not like they're coming and we're going to change some laws. Again, we're only an advisory committee. It's so we can build a relationship. It's so I can look across the table and know when I read this land acknowledgement, what it's representing, who it's representing, how they are receiving it, what they're doing, and how they receive, what we're doing to acknowledge what's happened in the past and how we're growing past that together. And that, again, is what we're charged to do as human rights commissioners, is to connect with those who we don't have a relationship with. So again, when I had this thought process, it's not so they can come on and we can change anything that is in law or has been done or code. It's so these people that represent the tribes and the Native Americans can come and have a voice and have a seat and know that there is a larger community, the Black community, the Muslim community, Jewish community, Indian community. There's all these communities where we represent, and they voice matters too. So it doesn't make sense to acknowledge something or someone who you don't even know and have no relationship with. We can't be blind to it anymore. This isn't pretend. This isn't make believe. We know the history of this country. We know what the atrocities and genocides that have been done, and moving forward, there's no progress without change. So what are we looking to change about ourselves? What are we looking to change about HRC that's going to be progressive for everybody and any Eugenian that wants to come here and live? And so, yeah, that's just my thought process on it when I came up with this. But that's it. But yeah, it was just a discussion. Fabio, where do you think we should go from here? And I do like Commissioner Poindexter's point on the start, on where to start.
Sorry, Chair, Commissioner Murphy has been asking to say something.
Okay, sorry. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Dr. Booker, and thank you, Fabio. I do want to add that I so 1000% agree with Dr. Booker that there is like a logo that goes with Native Americans. It's nothing about us without us. So it's sort of kind of talking about them without them in the room. It's absolutely it's something that I'm going through with my committee also. All these policies that are being made without their presence and lack of acknowledgement. And the another thing that I want to share is my experience working with a tribe at the border that I asked somebody to be part of my committee, and one of their responses was that they were not willing to be part of the committee because the tribe doesn't normally give out information about the committee, that they have their own treaties, they have their own process in terms of their councils and how they share information with outside. So that is something that I wanted to bring to the fore. So just sharing that. Thank you.
Oh, and Melissa, too, I know you have a meeting tomorrow. Let them know I'll be coming. I'll be willing to come and speak with them and explain so they understand where the conversation is coming from. And because I don't want them to feel like we're trying to come in and change anything. I want to have a relationship with the unheard and the unseen. And that's pretty much the premise of where this came from.
Thank you. I'll be sure to share that.
Thank you. So if there's no further discussion on that, I'm glad we got the ball rolling with that. We'll wait to hear back from you, Melissa, if that's okay. We'll do an update, and then we could, once I hear back from you, we'll probably add that again to the next meeting's agenda and do an update.
Okay.
Thank you for that. And thank you, Fabio, so much for giving that background information. Context is so important, and you are great at doing that. Thank you. Moving on to item 9, land acknowledgement conversation. This kind of ties in. I won't spend too much time with it, but again, we'll table this too, or not really table it, but we'll save it to hear back from Melissa. But this goes along with what I just said, the land acknowledgement and making sure that we are representing what we're acknowledging, and that we're trying to change in order to bring about progress. So that, again, won't spend too much time on that. We'll move on because I just kind of ranted. But again, that's what the land acknowledgement conversation was about. So it kind of coincided with the last conversation. So did anybody else have anything that they would like to say or add, or their personal feelings about the land acknowledgement or anything of that sort? Because I would like to hear from you guys too.
Chair,
Yeah.
Sorry, can I present the same background information about the land acknowledgement as I did with the
Oh, yes,
membership?
please. Please, I love it when you do it. Yes.
Okay, so the land acknowledgement was created in collaboration with the tribes and adopted for use at the city council meetings, and then recommended for use by the city staff and our boards and commissions. So it is a recommendation, it's not a requirement. So we have been using that statement since council started using it. We try to align the processes for commissions and council, but it's not a requirement. So I want to make clear that the HRC can have a conversation if they want to keep doing the land acknowledgement as has been approved or not. If you decide that you'd like change to the land acknowledgement, you can recommend change to it, and it will go to the same process. We get a recommendation, we send it to the IGTR committee, Intergovernmental Tribal Relations Committee, and City Council, and they may take it up for discussion and conversation. The HRC can decide we don't want to do the land acknowledgement, or you can decide we want to land and labor acknowledgement and have two pieces that you present. So those are all options that you have as a group to discuss. The approach with the city historically has been trying to align these processes so people become familiar when they come to the planning commission, to this HRC, to city council. They see something similar across their interactions with city government. So that's how we adopt the land acknowledgement when it was made available to us.
And I know that sorry.
I was just gonna ask if you could add a little bit of background about how it was written.
Yes, so actually, I would say maybe 5-10 years ago, land acknowledgements became the sexy thing to do, the popular thing to do, and it was very performative. But in Oregon, all 9 federally recognized tribes got together and created a guide on developing a land acknowledgement. So we, IGTR and the city has followed those guidelines and developed our land acknowledgement statement as it is today. Yes, we would contemplate changes. We definitely want to hear from the tribes if they definitely want us to make any changes. But I think what's really important to highlight is that the city does more than just the land acknowledgement. And I could even share a link maybe to go with the notes on all the different things the city departments have been doing beyond just the land acknowledgement statement. It hasn't been officialized yet, but we will be having a Native community advisory committee soon. So that's like an actual thing. They'll be compensated. They'll be actually providing advice and recommendations on specific parks and public art. So I just wanted to provide that context as well. And if we do end up if it moves forward to having a Native American seat, one thing I've been noticing is that when Native Americans or Indigenous folks or tribal representatives acknowledge the land, they actually call it a land honoring statement rather than a land acknowledgement. Acknowledgement is by non-Native folks. So just wanted to put that out there.
Thank you.
And I'm glad you said that, because we might I do have some questions that I would like you to take back to them is tomorrow. And one is are they okay with us switching it to land honoring versus land acknowledgement? Would that be more respectful of us as an HRC to change it to land honoring rather than land acknowledgement?
But I think it's because if it was being delivered by a Native American person, they wouldn't call it a land acknowledgement. But I'll ask just to see.
Yeah, it's just I kind of look at that the same way. Every demographic likes to be referred to as something that's respectful and kind of honoring what they would like for us to say. And then the second part of that is so it's the land honoring thing. I had a brain fart. Okay, moving on. I can't think about it right now. If I do it, I'll text it to you.
Okay.
But yeah, you said okay. So,
This is Commissioner Poindexter. I had one comment to make. I had been interested for several years in adding a labor acknowledgement, not changing the land acknowledgement, but adding the labor acknowledgement. I've been in a lot of spaces over the last decade when people acknowledge not only the stolen land, but the stolen labor. and the stolen people that formed our nation. And so I'm just interested that we put a small piece in our acknowledgement that we know that that happened.
Commissioner Poindexter, that is beautiful. I love that you said that. That's remarkable that you thought about that. And I'm all for that. I think that is a great way to honor although the historically a labor acknowledgement. That is remarkable. Thank you for bringing that up. And I'm all on board. And I don't know if it's something we need to vote on now, but definitely have a discussion with it. But I would like to definitely add that. And I don't know if we have to have a subcommittee on creating that or vote on if we need to do something with that, but I'm all about that.
You don't need to create another subcommittee. We see you. Work group is going to take this topic on, which both of you are on. So next week we'll have a further discussion, but whatever you guys want to discuss now is fine too.
Well, thank you so much. I look forward to that discussion. So yeah, I'll definitely look forward to adding a labor acknowledgement. So yeah, that's great. But yeah, and so yeah, I think let me see where I am. Kind of lost my place. Okay, so we just had the land acknowledgement conversation. Does anybody want to add anything else before we move on about land acknowledgement or adding a seat, a Native American seat to HRC, or there's any questions or anything that we've discussed so far? Nope. All right, let's keep moving on. Next is item 10, immigration enforcement emergency. Fabio, you want to give some background on that?
Yes, so I believe it was at the State of the City, the mayor mentioned interest in doing something about what is going on with the immigration enforcement activities that is affecting so many communities. And as you saw from Lieutenant Williams' report today, it ends up spilling over into the community because people may feel more empowered to be discriminatory based on what they are getting from the federal government. So the case involving the Latina worker that happened recently, the aggressor was actually saying like, we're gonna call ICE and you need to be deported. And so they take that into their own hands based on what they are seeing. So this has been impacting many communities, many individuals and families in our city. So city council members have expressed interest in discussing that, either any kind of statement or declaration. And the mayor just did put out a statement with the chief of police and the independent auditor's office. So that is posted online for people to see where the city stands on this topic. But we do not know if city council will have further discussions in having a statement or directing some resources to support people who are being affected by that. So this is a heads up to the commission because in preparing for this kind of conversation, we have tried to understand what is it that the community needs and how people could be supported. So different cities and counties have taken different approaches to addressing what is happening in their communities. And we do not know yet which kind of guidance we may get from our city council. But the HRC can, as is your role, to advise council. So this is an issue that's very dear to many of you. And I do know some of you work directly with people who are being affected. So if the commission wish to provide recommendations or have further conversation, that is something that is available to you. So let us know if you have something that you'd like us to share with city council, or if you'd like to have these conversations with the work groups or with partner agencies and so on, and we can facilitate that as well. And for now, I'll just reiterate what I mentioned before about the information that the city has been putting out is what we have from the state. So we follow the state guidance. So that information is posted on our website, and that's the material we take to our events. And it's also the information we share with our own staff. We do have staff members who are of immigrant background, and they are feeling impacted. So the city is also working with our own workforce to make sure people are getting the support and the information they need.
Fabi, I have a question. Has City Council put out any statement on how they feel about what ICE is doing or how it impacts our city?
I believe it was in the last meeting in 2025, Councilor Leach expressed interest in bringing a motion on that. So I couldn't attend the council briefing this morning, so I do not know if it has been added to the agenda. Do you know, Mia?
It has not.
Yeah, but some councilors have expressed interest in doing that, and a few other councilors expressed during their meetings support for that idea. But we do not know yet what's and when things will happen. But yeah, that's what we know so far, is that we heard from a few councilors and from the mayor at her statement that there is interest in and the statement itself is doing something. So the mayor has been very vocal about where the city stands on this.
Okay, but so I guess we are a recommendation committee. I would like to hear from our commissioners. Do you think we should recommend City Council put out a statement that clearly states how they feel and where they are about what ICE is doing and where our city is in terms of fear when it comes to these immigration policies?
I cannot suggest you a recommendation. What I can say is that that's the role of the HRC, is to advise council. So if something is of your interest, you can have a discussion and you can draft something and vote on and forward it to council. So I can provide you background on the process, what we know so far from what council has expressed publicly, and that's what we know. But I have to be watching myself, so I'm not giving you ideas or suggesting what you should do. So the commission, you are community members, volunteers, and you follow your own thoughts on this. So I hope you understand why I have to limit myself sometimes.
And do we know the date of the council's considerations?
So what happened at the last meeting in 2025 was that Lindsay Leach requested some additional information and expressed interest in potentially crafting, I believe, a resolution, but I don't know the status of that.
Okay.
And the counselors have been on break, and last week they were engaged in the recruitment for a city manager, so I think they'll probably get back in a groove soon. And so
Okay.
we can touch base with them now.
It seems to me that this commission should definitely write a supportive piece of testimony to that effort. If they are already considering a statement, then I think that we should encourage that and support that in writing, if that's part of the process.
Yeah, Councilor Lindsay Leach is still the liaison to the HRC.
Yeah.
So Chair, you had asked me for a meeting with them, so we can try to schedule that conversation. And it may also come in the next item in the agenda as we discuss your time with council that is coming up next month. You can also use that as well.
Do we need to vote on submitting that supportive testimony?
You need to have a testimony first drafted and then discuss if you want to approve that testimony or that recommendation. So internally, you can either assign it to a work group or to an ad hoc committee if there are people who are interested in craft something. That's usually the process the commission uses.
Okay. Is there any commissioner who would like to volunteer or think of any work group who would like to take this on in terms of just drafting something? I see Commissioner Banna.
Yes, I would love to either take this on or collaborate. Absolutely.
Okay. Yeah, you don't mind taking it on, and then you can bounce stuff off of me and we can go back and forth on it, and then I can submit it to Fabio. Is that good, Fabio?
We need to get a committee, so it is a discrete task that you would assign to that committee.
Okay.
We do not want the commission exchanging emails. If we involve more than 5 commissions, that becomes a break of our public meetings and records law.
Okay.
So we have a committee to work on that discrete task. Chair, you are looks like you're volunteering yourself.
Yes, I am.
Okay, so we have 2 members so far.
Anyone else like to join us? Don't everybody rush at once.
Chair Commissioner Murphy is raising her hand.
Yes.
Okay, Commissioner Murphy, thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, so that's three of us. Anyone else? If not, that's enough. If no one else wants to. Okay, so Fabio, we don't have to vote on the subcommittee. We can just work with you to set up date and time where we can meet.
Yes, because this will come back to the commission, so you don't need a vote right now. So the committee can draft something that can be included in the agenda for the entire commission to discuss and vote on.
Okay, so myself, Commissioner Murphy, and Commissioner Banna, we'll be working with Fabio to get a date and time that works for all of us, where we can discuss this and kind of draft something for the commission to vote on. All right. Thank you very much, Fabio. All right. If nothing else, we'll move on to our next thing, which are HRC report to City Council for discussion and vote. Did we just do that? Did we just discuss that? Or is that something else?
Yeah, so this is described in our code as well. So the commission presents to council a report, an annual report, and a biennial work plan. I can tell you how it has happened in the past, and we can discuss how we'd like to proceed. We get 45 minutes in the council agenda, and that can be done in person. So usually it's the staff liaison, so it would be myself coming to that meeting with the chair or chair and vice chair. Some years we have both, some years just one person presenting. And we take a short amount of time to present what the commission did in the previous year, and then have a conversation with council. They can ask questions about that, or you can have a conversation with councilors about priorities, alignment, and it's quite open. It depends on the interest of the council members, what they want to ask the commission. And we can collaborate on what should be highlighted on the report. What we have done in the past is going through the meetings and getting all the recommendations submitted, all the events that the commission sponsored, the events that the commission organized and attended. So that's pretty much straightforward. So staff just gathers all of that from the record. So we prepare that report. But the way you describe the work or the commission priorities, that's up for you to have that conversations and approve a final report. So that would come to your meeting in February 17th, because that would still give us enough time to get a final report approved by the commission and then included in the council agenda. But we'd have to do some work before February 17th to get that report ready.
Do you usually get reports from the subcommittees, from the work groups?
What I have done in the past to make it easier for commissioners is that I go through our records with our staff and we tell you what we have. And we let the work groups or the commission decide what they want to tweak and add and change. If that's a process you'd like, we can do the same thing.
If we go with that process, would staff have time to get it to us like a week before our next meeting? So we all have time to review it and bring input?
Yes, we'll try to get all of that done by next week and give it to you.
I think that would be very helpful.
Yeah, that'd be great.
All right. Thank you, Fabio. So we'll get that from you next week.
Yes, and then the commission will have to have a conversation about what are your priorities for this until the end of the year when you get a new work plan. Because we usually prepare the work plan at the August retreat, but it's not in place until it's approved by council. So that can happen in December or in January. So we have until the rest of this year to work on the current work plan.
Okay. So is that something that we need to discuss and vote on now?
At the February meeting.
Oh, the February, okay. All right, I'll work with you on that before then. All right, all right. Anything else in terms of the HRC report to City Council? Or any more discussion or questions? Nope. All right, thank you. All right, we'll move on to homeless and poverty work group updates.
Thank you, Chair. In December, we had our homeless persons Memorial Day event on December 21st at the Farmers Market Pavilion. I want to again thank Fabio and Lorna for their help. Also want to acknowledge that the Raging Grannies were present and provided music for us, and also helped with filling in on some of the memorial service roles as well, including reading the names and the bell ringing, both done by the Raging Grannies. Also, the Kiva Grocery provided the food for the event, the chili for the event. That was both vegan and it was great chili. From what I heard, we had good feedback from it, and they were very kind to us, provided that big portion of the food. Also, a couple members of the homelessness and poverty work group, Julie Lambert, who is also a member of the Raging Grannies, was very helpful and kind of filled in last minute for some work that we needed and read the names at the event for us. And Mel Holland, who has for the past several years, she has a food handling permit, and she's been a participant on the work group. She's been and she served the chili for us this year again, like she has in several past years, and very much appreciate their help. And also thank you to Commissioner Poindexter for coming and participating as well. And we also, unfortunately, because of some specific information that was shared on social media, Eugene Police Department also had to be involved. City staff made the difficult decision to ask police department to be present, and they were very careful not to be obtrusive, and were there present for us. There was no chili thrown this year. It was fitting and appropriate memorial. Also, one of the things that the homeless and poverty work group has been attempting to do is bridge this gap between the HRC and our local providers and advocates for the unhoused population. There is another event that happened kind of concurrent to this event, and it's been in process for some years. Last year, we did join efforts. The advocacy community decided to separate out those efforts again this year. All of us on the homeless and poverty work group are interested in finding a way to bridge that gap, because the work of the HRC specifically, I believe, aligns very well with the advocacy community's goals. I think that there is confusion sometimes about what the city is and what parts of the city do. Of course, the HRC and the Office of Equity and Community Engagement, no one in this room or on this call is involved in mistreatment of people who are experiencing homelessness. I don't think it's even possible to pretend that that's the case. However, we as a group are often painted in a very similar light to, for instance, the work that Public Works has to do, Parks, and the police department. In reality, we are advocating for human rights to be integrated into all of the, city departments. And so we're making efforts to have individual conversations with our advocates. It's okay if they do not wish to participate together with, anything associated with the city, but we want to make that offer. My hope is we can make that offer every year until or if we can combine efforts. My belief is, though we haven't had any formal work in the committee on this, but my belief is that it may even be worth supporting their event rather than having our own, like an event at the Farmers Market Pavilion. Though I understand that, of course, it's in our work plan, it's specific. We've got other interests at play too, including work of, the Office of Equity and Community Engagement. And so it's not as simple as just saying, well, next year we're gonna support their event. It is also possible that they do not want our support, or would prefer not to have our funding or participation, which we want to be sensitive to as well. So there's that took up the majority. Well, no, not the majority. That took up all of our last meeting, the discussion about trying to bridge this gap and also kind of a after action review of the event we had in December, which I think went well. And appreciate the help that we had, and it certainly felt less tense than the year before. There were no tables overturned, or no one got chili on them unless they spilled it on themselves. And cleanup afterwards. Cleanup was pretty easy compared to what I think it could have been or could be. And very much appreciate the city staff helping with that, because it isn't something that the Farmers Market Pavilion does on our behalf. We have to go and make sure that it's clean enough for the next vendor or organization coming in. I also have a report for the police commission. It's not on the agenda, but I'm happy to report.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, that's okay. And I'm happy to report and it's also okay if we don't have time for it, but I wanted to make sure we offered it.
No, please go ahead, Commissioner Bradley.
So related to the police commission, I took over as the liaison to police commission. This past month, we met on the 8th and reviewed several policies. The biggest update, I think, to bring back to this body from the police commission is that since the last time we spoke, the flock cameras have actually been taken down, not just covered up or deactivated. They've been taken down and stored at police headquarters in preparation for flock to come and collect them back up. If you know that where certain locations were, there is still some infrastructure left. There are these solar panels that were not taken down. Apparently that was more involved, the solar panel installation, but the cameras themselves are gone. The solar panels remain. My understanding was that it was just more complicated to take it down. That's what we were told. So the flock cameras are down, and that was a recommendation that came out of homelessness and poverty work group to HRC. HRC recommended to city council. Of course, they had their own concurrent activity and work around it. However, I would like to think that we had some influence and some advocacy in that area. So good news for HRC in that area. And so that was a report that was received from police chief. We also reviewed the DUI enforcement, sexual assault and stalking incidents, policies and procedures. There was no public comment at this meeting and at the two previous meetings, which is a significant divergence from back in the summer when we had very robust public comment at police commission meetings. And strong work there. So thank you. That's all that I have. Thank you, Chair.
No worries. I want to start off, everybody give Commissioner Bradley a round of applause, please. Remarkable work that you've done. You look great on TV. I was so happy to see you doing the interview. I was like, yeah, my man's Hollywood. That was a great interview you did, and talking about HRC. And you
That was gonna be you, Chair.
No, I'm so glad you got to do that, because that is what HRC is about. The things that we are passionate about, and being the representative for those things. I always say I don't have to be the face of everything. I don't have to be the voice of everything. I like when people step up and they represent, and they show their face and their voice for things that they truly care about. And you are 100% right. Thank you to Homeless Poverty Work Group. Without you guys getting that ball rolling, those flock cameras would not have been taken down. And you guys were definitely the voice and the action behind that. And that needs to be said and acknowledged and appreciated. So thank you so much for the Homeless Poverty Work Group, and especially you, Commissioner Bradley. Your work in representing that has been remarkable. Thank you to Farmers Pavilion, the Raging Grannies, and EPD for hearing the people and listening to the public, and what our community is safe with and not safe with. I think that's very important in terms of finding that even median between what they want to enforce and do and what our community is ready for and feels comfortable with. So without the work you guys did, that would have never happened. So thank you so much, Commissioner Bradley, for doing that. So I want to make sure that I went on record to say that it was remarkable what you've done, and I couldn't be more proud to be a part of this commission when I saw that on TV and how that was represented. And I do agree with you. We do need more of a relationship with the advocates. It kind of goes back to what I was saying about how do we represent somebody we don't have a relationship, right? Or acknowledge somebody we don't have a relationship with. And that relationship does need to be built, because there are advocates who are out there every single day that are doing work that we never know about. And again, human rights, everyone, everywhere, every day. So I do want to open up for those advocates to come and speak. And even if giving them 10, 15 minutes to come and speak, as long as they're being respectful, they understand that we are an advisory committee. I don't mind them contacting me or Fabio or whoever. Definitely they can contact me if they want. Understand what our limitations are and what we can and can't do. So they don't think they don't paint us with a paintbrush that, oh, they're government, so they must be controlled, and they don't stand for us, and that couldn't be further from the truth. So yeah, I do want to, as you guys talk to different people within the community, let them know that the opportunity to come and speak and be given 10, 15 minutes, and add them to the agenda is welcome, so they don't always have to wait in the queue at the end. So if it's something, as long as they come and be respectful and don't use profanity and can have an open, respectful dialogue, I'm all for it. And making sure that their anger is not misdirected. So yeah, that is open to them. As long as I'm chair, that's open to them. So please offer that to anybody in the community that wants to come and speak to build that relationship with us, especially advocates. So yeah, thank you for that. I think that kind of floated over into the police commission too. So thank you so much for your work on there. I know you replaced me on being that. So thank you for volunteering and taking on that position too, Commissioner Bradley. So yeah, you kind of got your hands in a lot of different pots, and I really appreciate you. So
thank you, Chair.
Yes, sir. So any more updates from Homeless Poverty Work Group, or anybody want to say anything or anything before we move on?
Chair, I would like just to recognize Anne Emil Holman as a community volunteer, because Anne has been a part of that event since the beginning. So 2019 was the first year that they did that event. And it started with community advocates. In the beginning of the big crisis in 2019, Anne Emil Holman, Julie Lambert, Heather Selig, and others, I can't remember all the names right now, but they were the ones who had the idea of creating that memorial and bringing attention to people who'd passed a while being unhoused. And that event has evolved. And although we had two different events this year, the public at those events were different. So the people who were in downtown, they would not have been served by the event at the Jefferson Washington Park because it was just far, it was cold and raining. So when we did the outreach before the event, we found lots of people staying in downtown, and that people came and got food and got supplies and like was able to participate in the process. Some wrote names at the memorial, and the people attending the other memorial, they probably would not have walked all the way to downtown in the rain and in the cold.
Yeah.
So people were served by those events. And of course, the commission can discuss how we'd like to move on for the next year. We would follow your guidance, and we staff will be able to support you as we have been since that event started. So it has evolved a lot and changed over the years, being outside, being inside, and involving different parts of the community. So have your conversations in this coming cycle and let us know how you'd like us to support.
Well, thank you. And then something that just came to mind is something that we could do, always try to think ahead of something we can do more of. Could we put together and just send out on a regular basis, and any one of us can recommend someone, just a letter of acknowledgement that we send out that says, thank you for what you're, like something blanketed that like just thank you for your contribution to our community. Thank you for the work that you do. We just want to let you know that HRC sees you. We recognize you and acknowledge the work that you do in our community type thing that we can just email or send out to individuals. And that also builds relationships. So like we could send Ann Bill Holland something. We could send the Raging Granny something. Just this little bitty letter, more than a paragraph, and just say thank you, and we see them. Is that something that we would need to vote to do, or is that something we could like, how do we get that process started, or where we just can do these little acknowledgments to people within our community, and any one of us can bring forth somebody that we would like to acknowledge?
You don't need a vote to send a thank you letter for their help to the HRC events or to the community. The HRC has the awards, the annual awards program. So last year it happened at the end of the fiscal year. So that's something that will probably come back in February, March on the agenda that you can discuss the award. So that is something more formal when we ask for nominations and the HRC members vote on who is being recognized for their efforts towards human rights in our community. And we invite them for an event at the end of the fiscal year and offer that award. So that is up for the commission to discuss what kind of event you'd like to organize and how we should proceed with that.
Well, I was thinking of something more acute. So for instance, if Commissioner Murthy came to me and said, hey, Dr. Booker, there's someone in my community that has been doing ABC for a long time. And, I think it'd be good for HRC just to acknowledge them and say thank you. She could send me a little email telling me why she thinks this person. I could type something up or, see our little letter that we already got typed up and just say, okay, do you have an email address for her? And I can send it out. It's just something acute on the spot rather than waiting for an end of year type thing. It's just something acute that somebody, any of the commissioners could email me and say, hey, this person needs to be thanked, and I could just send it out to them.
Yes, you can send a letter like that, but that would have to be from you as the HRC. You can say it's HRC chair. It cannot be from the HRC. Anything for the HRC has to be voted by the entire commission. So that would be the distinction. Like any member can send a thank you letter and acknowledgement. If you want something to be a formal acknowledgement by the commission, then that would require a vote of the commission.
Right, so we could like compile a list of people and then send it out with the agenda and then say, we'll vote on these
Yes.
folks that have been brought up.
Yeah, that would work.
I think that's
Okay,
a great, I love that.
Okay, so yeah, let's do that. And then if you guys have any of the commissioners have names or anything, just email them to me or Fabio and just a brief description on who they are, what their name is, what they represent, what they've been doing. And they don't even have to belong to an organization. It could be an independent advocate. Just a way, but they need to have an email address at least, so we could email it to them. But it's just something acute, quick, and it's a way for us to build relationships. One person at a time, one thank you at a time. But yeah, I'm glad you said that, Fabio. So a way to do that without the vote is if you guys, I'll draft just like a little blanketed thank you acknowledgement thing. And if you guys want to send it to me individually, I'll send it out to the individual, or we can do like Fabio says, and you just send us all the names, and then we can acknowledge them and vote on it and acknowledge it at the next meeting. So either way works. All right. Anybody else on that? Okay. Next update from We See You update.
Let me see if I have more than 2 minutes. Are we extending the meeting?
We have
Yes,
2 minutes.
Let's go ahead and do that now. We'll extend the meeting by, let's see, We See You. Office of Equity, do you have a lot of updates?
2 to 3 minutes.
Okay, so let's do 15 minutes, and then if we don't need it, we can just end early. So all in favor of extending the meeting by 15 minutes, say aye. All opposed? Okay, we've got 15 more minutes on the clock.
Thank you. We See You has 2, 3, maybe 4 subcommittees going on. So, yeah,
True.
so I'm gonna ask people to chime in. Do Commissioners Baldwin and Bowman want to speak about the Transgender Day of Remembrance that came out of We See You?
You wanna go or you want?
Yeah, and I'm like, oh, did we talk about that? But we didn't have a meeting in December, so no, we didn't talk about that.
No.
Yeah, so that event was heartbreaking, gut-wrenching as usual. But there was a great attendance. There were so many people that showed up. That building was pretty full. We had the queer choir that came and sang. They were incredible. I was crying. I had chills. It was phenomenal. They did such a good job. Yeah, we had a display in the back that I made with just a display of all of the names of the folks that were 55 on the list this year at a minimum. There's over 300 worldwide. And that is the highest number that I can remember in the dozen years that I've been putting together TDOR events. And so, oh no, I'm gonna cry. That was a lot.
It was very moving.
Yeah. Akasha put together an incredible kind of script. Him and I worked on it together, and so I feel like the program was good. Julian put together a little program so folks knew kind of what the drill was and what it was going to be, so that was good to have just expectations for folks so they could step out at parts that they needed to and just have like an idea of what was going to happen. We lit candles, there was snacks, there's folks of all ages. We got some really good feedback, we got some really constructive feedback, things we needed to hear and didn't want to, but I think that's important. And so yeah, I feel good about how that went, and I'm excited to be not excited. I don't want to be excited that people died and we have to do that again. But it's good to see the community come together in that way and have a place to mourn together for what they lost.
And then there's a group that's continuing to meet to go over the feedback we got and to figure out what a future event looks like. If it's actually HRC putting it on, or actually kind of similar to what you were saying, if it's a community organization and then HRC is simply supporting them. So I'm glad that we did that immediately after, and I'm excited that we're working on that now. So we're prepared for whatever is ready, we're gonna do next year. So.
Thank you. So that was one effort. Another is that we had a subcommittee reviewing the Equity Atlas, and Commissioner Murphy already talked about that a little bit. A huge subcommittee effort has to do with responding to the request that we heard last fall from Open. And they are really well organized, Open is, with legislative letters and proposals. And what we're doing right now is building a community organization base so that advocates in the community can spearhead our next few, I hope, meetings. And what we want to do is get something to HRC and then to city council, which will expand the protected class ordinances in the city of Eugene to protect families who are non-traditional. That's a terrible phrase, but I have to find another one. And families who are not automatically protected in our ordinance. Does anybody want to chime in about the open meetings or proposals? We've had a lot of meetings.
Yeah, I think that sounded great. I've been just impressed with the way that those folks are moving about it and have already passed ordinances in places like Olympia, Washington or other
Yes.
places. And Corvallis is looking at it, and so it's like
Yeah,
gaining momentum.
exactly.
And so it certainly won't hurt for folks to be protected in the city of Eugene if they're non-monogamous and their family structure isn't the way that people expect it to look. So you feel good about supporting that, at least here we can do what we can.
It's a real honor to be part of this, this movement.
Yeah.
Really on the cutting edge of it.
Yeah, it matters so much. So.
Yes. And the work group I'm confused about is the work group that is doing the Human Rights Day events. Melissa,
Yes.
is that a different group or is
It is, and actually I was going to request from the commission to make sure we add this on our February agenda to talk
Okay.
more about. But it is not specifically a WECU
Right.
task, it's just a lot of WECU members are part of it. But I want to let you all know, we have reserved the Farmers Market Pavilion for March 19th. It's a third Thursday, and that's when we're gonna have the community panel ending the short film series. We're gonna have a filmmaker also be there, and we're gonna be releasing a short film called The Undocumented Lawyer in March, all of March, and it'll be free for the public. So we're still kind of in the planning phases, so I'll report back next month. But yeah. Is there anything else?
Yeah,
that we
so
can
free
say?
for people to watch from home.
From
They can
home,
watch
anywhere.
anytime they want
Yes.
during the month of March.
And if you haven't seen the program already, it's up on our calendar with all the links to all the short films that we've provided, all free, all free. And something I think I shared with you, Cynthia, we're also watching those same short films here with city staff. And we've only had one session so far, and that's been it's gone really well, and we're housing another one this Friday, but we're watching the same films that the commission recommended.
and as part, thank you for, because that human rights subcommittee is not really housed under anything.
Yeah, it was a whole commission
Okay.
activity, so yeah, we just did an ad hoc group.
Okay, and I want to acknowledge Fabio and Dr. Booker for going with me to the city council and sitting there for 2 hours, possibly 13 hours, I don't know. Before we got a chance to read our statement, thanking the council for their document that proclaimed Human Rights Day. That was really, it was really important, I think, to get that on the record.
You did a great job.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you for doing that.
Okay.
He's muted.
Chair, we can't hear you.
I just wanted to thank Commissioner Poindexter personally for taking the time to show up and read that and stand there. Let me stand beside you while you read that to council, and I mean mugged them. No, I'm just playing. But thank you for reading that off. It was great.
Thank you all. So if there's nothing else from the other WCU members, then I think we've covered it.
That feels good to me.
All right. If there's nothing else from WCU, we'll move on to Office of Equity and Community Engagement updates.
Chair, Commissioner Murphy had her hands up.
Oh, sorry about that. Commissioner Murphy, go ahead.
It's okay. Thank you, Dr. Booker, and thank you, Fabio. I had questions about those 7 to 11 movies. I mean, the short films. Are they the ones that you're talking about that the city is also watching? You sent a list of like 7 short films on human rights issues. Are they the same films that you mentioned?
They are, what I think we need to do is include the link for the calendar event, because I don't think we shared it with all the commissioners, actually.
No,
We announced.
that was shared as an event for staff. So because the commission was going to watch the movies, I asked that our entire team would watch the same movies, so we'll all be aware of what is being shared with the community. And then we decided to open it for all city staff. So it's part of our training program. So it's in the training calendar. So city staff can come here during lunchtime. They bring their own lunch. We're not feeding them, but they can bring their lunch and watch the movie with us. And then we have a conversation afterwards. So it's happening every other Friday for city staff to know more about those short films on human rights.
Thank you.
Does that answer your question?
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Melissa.
Okay. All right. Now we'll move on to item 14, Office of Equity and Community Engagement updates.
Thanks, Chair. I will share my screen because I have a few pieces to show to you. One is just highlight the Equity Atlas because it was released, I believe, during the break. So it was sometime in November that it became available for the entire community. And this has a lot of HRC work that happened years ago that contribute to this being now a public document that anyone at the city can see. And as it's shown here, it's just selected stories. It is not comprehensive yet. So there's a lot of things that we just don't know. And there is a way for people to contribute to this work, either correcting if this is something that is misrepresented here. So there is a way here at the bottom and an email that people can use to provide that information. You can go through the stories here. Sorry, like to go, if you go and explore the Equity Atlas, and you can see the entire content of what we have documented so far. And most of this work came through interviews that our team did with people who lived through the stories that are being documented in this atlas, contributions from the Human Rights Commission, plus work done by the Museum of Natural History at the U of O. So planning department partnered with them to get some work done. So their experts helped packaging the information in a way that is easy for people to see through the website. So it was really a large project, years in the making. And we are glad that now it's available for the entire community to see.
Can I ask a quick question?
Yes.
Has there been any intentional sharing of this with our local school district? Because I think this could be really cool for high school and or middle school.
I'm not aware, like direct outreach to the schools. There was a press release that went out. There were a few pieces on the news, local news about this, but we can definitely, I'll ask Melissa to talk to the team about sending a message to the school district so teachers are aware that this resource is available. And in addition to this, and just so you know, most of these things, although we talk a little bit about what happened with the donation land claims, and most of this history is about the impact on African Americans. So you see other communities represented, but most of the stories impacted more directly the African American population. In addition to the Equity Atlas, we also have our own exhibit. So there is an exhibit that OEC put together. Most of the content is the same as in here, and that exhibit has been displayed in different parts of our community. Lorna is working right now on where it will be displayed for African American History Month coming up in February. So we will have more to share about that soon. So we're partnering with other departments in the city for some programs around African American History Month. Should know more a week from now.
Is there any chance it could eventually become a permanent exhibit somewhere?
We do not know yet. We have the material, we have been making it available and trying to get more organizations to use it. They can borrow the exhibit from us if someone has a space and would like to have it on display. We can make copies of the material and have more than one set of panels available. And I see a panel right there, so can you get one, Melissa, so I can show on camera for the record? So yeah, Lorna is really passionate about that work. She spent a lot of time working with community members to gather those stories and document it, and we have those panels available. So Melissa is holding one of those panels, for example, and this is like pictures and illustrations from our local community and some
Can anyone
little
see?
pieces of stories.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it's.
Yeah, I was like.
Let me stop sharing here so people can see Melissa holding the. Can you go closer, Melissa?
You have to speak, so.
Might have to talk.
Yeah.
Oh, hi, this is me holding the sign.
Yeah, so we have a set of
Oh, there's a lot of them, like 30.
20 of them,
Oh, that's
20
some
panels.
Some bigger than that.
No, they are all the same
Oh.
size.
It's just the way that they display it sometimes.
Yeah, so we have 20 panels that is a summary of the history, the African American history in Eugene. And that's available here in our office if anyone would like to borrow it to display.
Yeah, and we've
Organizations.
had them up at like Juneteenth. Last year there were.
Black Cultural Festival used it once, so many different events have had those displays up for people to see. Thank you, Melissa. Something else I'd like to share is, let me get back to my screen. Swear, we'll find a way to make it easier. Oh,
I hate that too, or something.
sorry, it's not easy to navigate these different windows with Zoom on, like. After 6 years of doing this, it's still complicated. So, the United Nations has this event that has been happening once a year. It's a conference on human rights at the local level. I've attended 2 years as a participant and 1 year as a presenter. And this time we're being invited again to attend it. So I'm working with staff to see who is available to join the conference. It's online. And commissioners can also attend. So if you'd like to participate, it's happening February 2nd to 5th. You can take pieces of it. I will share a link for registration. I think the registration is free. It's sponsored by the UNESCO Center on Human Rights. And the topics very much relate to what we are facing here with our budget conversation. So if you are interested in learning how you can budget from a human rights perspective, this would be an interesting a conference to attend. The initial days of the conference, they hold an academy in which they go through local experiences and how people are doing with implementation of human rights at the local level. So you learn from experience from all over the world. So it's an international conference. One caveat is that the years I attended, I had to be up at 2 a.m., 3 a.m. because it's happening in Austria. So it's happening at their time. So the hours for us are not very convenient. But it was a very interesting conference. I made good connections and learned a lot to participating. So if you'd like to attend them, let me know. And we can.
I would, Fabio.
Okay.
And if there's
I'll send the link to everyone.
Since it has to do with budgeting, will any city councilors be invited to go and or anyone on the budget committee?
We can share the information with them. Thanks for asking that. We can share the information if anyone is interested. Yeah, I will try to attend some because the HRC is always asked to provide recommendations on the budget as you did in the last cycle. And if you remember from your recommendation, almost everything that you asked for was preserved in the budget. And there was a good alignment. So it is important for commissioners to be familiar with how it's done all over the world and see if there's anything that we could bring into our experience here.
Yeah, definitely sign me up, Fabio. And if it's an opportunity for me to speak, I would like to as well.
Okay. Final update from our office. We are finalizing our document that explains our approach to community engagement, and we'll be able to release that document soon. So that was informed by our own experience with community engagement, conversation with staff across the organization, plus a series of listening sessions and multiple engagements with participants in the listening sessions as we were developing the document, and a survey with about 1,000 participants. So we are trying to model that iterative process of asking people, does it represent what you shared and what you did? So that's really, we are really excited about having that document ready to explain to people what is our goal regarding community engagement. And that should be done by the end of January. So that document would be available for us to update the public participation guideline. That is a 78-page outdated document with just 5 pages. That's much easier for people to understand what we are trying to accomplish with our community engagement efforts. And we are also about to engage in a process of redesigning our permitting processes for community events. So the city does sponsor a lot of events, and some of them happen in city parks, for example, or at streets like the Friendly Block Party. And getting a large community event to happen takes a lot of effort, and sometimes a lot of energy from community volunteers in navigating all our bureaucratic processes. Like there's a permit from Eugene Police if they are going to block streets and they need police involvement. There's a permit from Public Works to use the right of way, or a permitting with the fire department for the safety issue, food handlers permit, and so many other things that people have to navigate and get. It's difficult. So we are convening staff from across the organization to discuss how can we make that simpler. And we hope to have that in place by this summer outreach season, because we have about 100 events that happen every summer that we support or we attend, or the community asks us to facilitate. So this is going to take some of our time in the coming months, but we are very excited because we have people in the community, and we as a staff have been asking for that for a while. So
Yeah, I appreciate that OEC is willing to coordinate that because it's a huge group of people in the organization. But I think the thing that you all recognize and hear about more is that it has a pretty significant relational impact when people struggle to navigate that system when they're just trying to do something to build community. So it's going to be really helpful, and I appreciate it.
Yes, that's what we are up to here for now.
All right.
Excited for the new city manager. I appreciate everyone who volunteered for that process. Dr. Booker did attend that panel. We also had a group of 15 neighborhood association board members who came to watch that panel and then have a conversation and provide their recommendation as well on who would be the best candidates. So it was a very collaborative process. Mia was working with the recruiting agency and advocating for that community engagement component in selecting our new city manager. So that was really good process.
All right. Any more updates before we move on to our last item? Any commissioners have anything to say? All right, moving on. Last thing, public comment. Do we have anyone that wants to speak in the visitor or public comment section?
No one signed up for public comment today.
All right. Thank you all. I know we went a little bit over time, but I appreciate all your patience and dedication to the HRC. We'll be updating everyone with everything we discussed, and I look forward to seeing all you next month. Last but not least, anybody got anything else they want to say before we close out our meeting? All right. I'd like to thank each and every one of you. Thank you, Fabio. Thank you, Mia. Appreciate you for all the work you guys do in helping us stay on track and do things according to policy. And I look forward to seeing all you guys next month.
Thank you. There's still food and desserts over here. Please help yourselves because we don't want